Welcome to Structured Change. In today's episode, what is change? Now the question sounds very obvious, but I think it's one that it often gets complicated and misconstrued, which just confuses people, stakeholders, and those that are trying to influence change. If we think of change in two different streams or through two different lenses, the first lens is the change that is occurring around us. It's the change that we don't have any control over, and often we have very little influence over that type of change. So it's really the change that's happening to us. Some examples of that would be the market and competition. So the market, be it macroeconomics and global markets down to local competition in your area, these are all elements of change that are happening around us. There is the political cycles, when it might be Parliament or a political party get voted in, another one gets voted out, they change their leadership, or they might even implement a new policy. That is a change that we really can't control. Another type of change would be the environmental or climate change. For us in Australia, climate change means less rain and drought, whereas if I'm living in Venice in Italy, climate change is actually raising water levels in Venice, which is having an impact on me, but I have little ability to change that outcome. Another quite relevant change that occurs to us is population growth. We have around the world, population continues to grow, but even on a local basis, we have populations moving. It might be through refugee status that thousands of people move across a border to another country. It might be the influx of immigrants to a country. So in Australia, we have immigrants coming into our country, which has a couple of impacts. It may impact our local ability in terms of job availability, but it also helps us in diversity, new thinking, and we actually gain skills in our country that we might not already have. Another type of change that's happening around us would be that of global tensions or war, or where one country serves sanctions on the other one and puts trade restrictions in place. Again, this is probably outside of our ability to control that as an organization or as a change person, but it's one that we need to be mindful of. Another very important element for changes that are occurring around us is technology. It was only 30 years ago or so that the web was not even heard of. The internet was just nothing. We had phones, systems in place, PABXs. Now, most people are on this earth have a phone, and if they've got a phone, it's typically a smartphone. So they're examples of change that's occurring around us that we have little control over. Let's look at it change through a different perspective and a lens that says, what are the changes that we can influence as individuals, as divisions, as organizations? Well, previously I said that a market that we belong to, we have little control over. However, I'll repeat market in what we can influence in terms of change, because we could change the quality of our product, we could change the appeal of our product, or the cost of our product. That would actually have a change. We could also look at the way we process our work, our workflows, our management systems. We could also look at the behaviors of our people, the values of our people. That really brings us to a very major component, which we'll talk about in this series, is the culture of an organization. Understanding a culture, understanding the changes that are occurring around us are quite key to being an effective change person. Now, whether you are deeming yourself as a change leader, change analyst, change manager, change advocate, change champion, lots of names are given to people in change. But at the end of the day, we are seeking to influence change, or at least understand something different, moving from point A to point B, from current state to future state. So we'll take a look at that throughout the next couple of podcast episodes in terms of what is change management. Anyway, this is just a very simplified episode to actually explain what change is. It's very simple, and the simpler we make change, the easier it is for people to accommodate change.